Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, June 25th. Today we will continue to see lightning develop across the Great Basin. The area shaded in yellow across Nevada and Utah will see a mix of wet and dry storms, and we'll see wetter storms up towards Idaho and Wyoming. However, these thunderstorms across the northern half of this yellow area in Nevada will likely transition to wet fairly quickly today. So we will see quite a bit of lightning, but again, a little bit more rainfall than what we saw yesterday. On Friday, as the cold front pushes into the Great Basin, thunderstorms will shift a little bit further south, mainly southern Nevada and over into southwest and central Utah. We'll also have a few wetter thunderstorms up north. However, on Saturday and Sunday is the main concern for this outlook for the increase in winds as a much stronger cold front drops into the Great Basin. Winds will increase over western and northern Nevada initially on Saturday, with gusts likely between 30 and 40 miles per hour. And we'll still likely have a few thunderstorms further south, but fairly isolated. However, Sunday winds will be quite a bit stronger across the Great Basin. Over the last 24 hours, we saw an abundance of lightning across the northern half of Nevada into Idaho, with more isolated thunderstorms across Utah. These thunderstorms were wettest up north across Idaho and right near the Nevada-Idaho border. Most areas further south into Nevada and western Utah saw less than 1/10 of an inch of precipitation under most storms. There were a couple of stronger storms on the western side of the state that produced a little bit more precipitation, but for the most part, we did see an increase in humidity temporarily with scattered amounts of precipitation. Definitely had fire activity pick up across the Great Basin with light to moderate initial attack across Nevada into Utah and southern Idaho. We also had a couple of larger fires across western Nevada and also over eastern Nevada in the Ely district. The precipitation over the last 14 days has been confined to the northern half of the region. This does not take into account the thunderstorms yesterday, so again, we had some of that lighter precipitation further south. But again, the southern half of the Great Basin has seen little to no precipitation over the last couple of weeks, which is well below normal for the time of year. Our ERCs are still critical over the southern half of the region, with ERCs above the 80th to 90th percentile, and which is above normal for the time of year as well. Further north, we will see our ERCs start to come down with the thunderstorms that moved through yesterday, and also again later this weekend as cooler temperatures return to the northern areas. Looking at some of our ERC charts, you can see over eastern Nevada and over southeast Utah, ERCs are above normal and close to the 97th percentile for the time of year. 10-hour fuel moisture is still critical over the southern half of the Great Basin, however has come up over northern areas with the thunderstorms and increase in humidity. The satellite image from this morning shows that cold front moving through the northern areas of the Great Basin. This will continue to push south and east. We won't see much of a big temperature change behind this front. Again, it's just enough to trigger some thunderstorms, and also it won't be bringing very windy conditions to the Great Basin, at least not today and tomorrow. We will see gusty winds with the outflow boundaries from the thunderstorms, which over the last 2 days have gusted between about 40 and 60 miles per hour. Looking at our weather pattern for later today, again, that front drops further south, so that will push that thunderstorm activity further south today. We still have some high risk over southern and eastern Nevada and also into western Utah. Again, this is where thunderstorms will likely move into some of these PSAs for the first time. We will see a mix of wet and dry storms, so this is not a dry lightning event by any means, but certainly the increase in lightning in areas where fuels are very dry will increase initial attack, and we do have the potential for some larger fires in areas that don't see any rainfall. Relative humidity for later this afternoon will remain in the single digits to low teens in the south and will elevate to above 20% over northern Utah, northeast Nevada, and up into Idaho. You can see the picture on the right is where we depict those thunderstorms to occur later today. Definitely looking at scattered coverage once again over central and eastern Nevada into Utah, with more isolated storms further north. As we move into Friday, that cold front pushes through the Great Basin and pushes that lightning threat into far southern and eastern areas. We do have a couple of high-risk boxes for lightning left over southern Nevada and southwest Utah, where thunderstorms will be a little bit more numerous, and also a mix of wet and dry in areas that have not seen thunderstorms in the last 2 to 4 weeks or longer. Relative humidity will remain low in the south and will also start drying out again over the northern half of Nevada. And you can see on Friday where we expect those thunderstorms to be, generally over the southern half of the Great Basin. Probably a little bit less coverage than what we've been seeing yesterday or what we will see today. However, as we move into Saturday, this is where our much stronger cold front starts to drop south. Winds will increase out ahead of this front, so we do have some high risk for the wind and dry conditions over western and northern Nevada on Saturday. Not only will it be windy and dry, but this is also areas that we've seen recent lightning, so we'll likely be picking up some holdovers. Relative humidity on Saturday over western Nevada will remain in the low teens, and you can see the wind picture on the right showing wind gusts in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range, and probably even some gusts to 45 along the Sierra front. Forecast amounts of precipitation are shown here. You can see, again, spotty with the thunderstorms. Some areas will see some heavier thunderstorms, but for the most part, generally light rainfall amounts. As we go into Sunday, this is our windiest day across the Great Basin as that low drops into the north. We will see widespread, very strong winds for this time of year. Wind gusts will be in excess of 50 or even 60 miles per hour in some areas, especially over western Utah into eastern Nevada and southern Nevada. However, again, very windy and dry conditions. So again, with not only just with the windy and dry conditions on its own, but with the lightning we've seen recently, expect a significant holdover event as well. As we move into Monday, this area of low pressure drops south. The windy conditions shift to southern and eastern Utah. However, associated with this area of low pressure in the north, we'll see a significant drop in temperatures starting Sunday in the north and then pushing further south on Monday. We'll see high temperatures drop into the 50s and 60s over Idaho and down into the 60s and 70s over northern Nevada and Utah. We'll also see additional showers and thunderstorms and moisture moving across the north. So a significant decrease in fire potential over the northern half of the geographic area going into early next week. On Tuesday, this area of low pressure quickly shifts to the east, keeping cooler and unsettled conditions, especially across Idaho and northern Utah, with again a decrease in fire potential. The only area that likely won't see much of a decrease in fire potential will be southern areas that will largely remain removed from the moisture and any increase in relative humidity. On Wednesday, we see drier conditions return, so we will see that fire potential gradually go up. Forecast amounts of precipitation, this takes into account the next few days with lightning in the south. However, over central Idaho into eastern Idaho and Wyoming, you can see a significant increase in precipitation with this much stronger cold front moving through this weekend into early next week. The 8 to 14 day outlook, this takes us from July 2nd through the 9th, shows possibly some cooler conditions in the north, so those areas of low pressure may continue to track across northern areas, bringing us windy conditions. However, precipitation will remain generally normal across the Great Basin with the exception of across Utah and the Arizona Strip. This below normal signature for early July is significant in that it indicates a delay in the monsoon. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.